Captain Aaron Hale had seen many strange worlds in his career, but nothing prepared him for the planet Varelia. The sky was the color of liquid silver, clouds drifting like slow waves across a mirrored dome. His boots touched the crystal soil with a soft crunch, and every step sent a shimmer of blue light across the ground. Humanity had come here to negotiate peace, but Aaron felt there was more happening beneath the surface. Something hidden, something fragile. The Varelians had sent a strange message a week earlier, requesting a meeting with one human representative. Not a team, not a council, just one person. And they had asked specifically for Aaron Hale. He did not know why. His ship, the Solace Wing, rested behind him as he walked toward the towering palace made of glowing stone. The structure rose like a mountain of glass, every angle reflecting soft beams of light. 2 guards with elongated silver armor guided him toward the entrance. They were silent, tall, and elegant, more like living sculptures than soldiers. As the heavy doors opened, Aaron felt a change in the air. Warmer, more scented, like fresh rain mixed with flowers. A long corridor stretched ahead, decorated with flowing patterns that pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. "This place feels alive," Aaron muttered to himself. The guards said nothing. They only gestured for him to continue forward. He had been a soldier for most of his life. He had fought pirates at the edge of the solar border, helped colonists build homes on Mars, and acted as an envoy to several alien civilizations. But something about today felt different. He felt as if he was walking toward a moment that would change everything, not just for him, but for 2 entire species. When the guards finally stopped, they motioned to a door shaped like an arch, lit with violet energy. "The princess awaits," one guard said, voice soft and strange, as if echoing from far away. Aaron nodded, straightened his uniform, and stepped inside. The room beyond was not what he expected. Instead of a royal hall, it looked like a private chamber, a sanctuary. Soft light glowed from the ceiling, shimmering like stars forming constellations. A pool of sparkling water rested at the center, steam rising gently from its surface. Strange flowers grew along the walls, their petals dancing without any wind. And at the far end of the room stood the Varelian princess, Princess Sarilith. She was facing away from him, both hands placed against a glowing panel on the wall. Her tall frame was trembling with visible fear. Her ceremonial armor, normally worn during diplomatic meetings, lay cracked on the floor behind her. A shimmering fabric hung loosely around her shoulders, not quite fastened, revealing that she had been preparing or recovering from something. She was not unclothed, but she was clearly vulnerable, unprepared for a visitor, and deeply shocked by his sudden entrance. When she turned around, her luminous violet eyes widened. Fear flashed across her face. You're early," she gasped. Aaron immediately looked away out of respect, raising one hand apologetically. "My apologies, Princess. Your guards said you were expecting me. They weren't supposed to send you in yet?" Her voice trembled as she pulled the loose fabric more tightly around herself. Aaron kept his gaze fixed on the floor tiles, beautiful tiles, glowing, shifting, very convenient tiles. "If you need a moment, I can wait outside." "No," she said quickly. "It's fine. Just don't look for a second." Aaron nodded. He heard the soft rustle of fabric as she fastened it properly. A faint humming sound filled the air, probably some kind of Varelian clothing seal. After a moment, her voice returned, calmer. "You may look now, Captain Hale." He turned back to her. The princess now wore a smooth, elegant robe that glowed faintly with pale pink energy. Her silver hair fell like liquid light across her shoulders. Her posture was tall, graceful, but he could still sense the fear in her eyes. "I didn't mean to disturb you," Aaron said gently. "You didn't?" She took a breath. But the truth is, I wasn't ready to show myself to a human yet. Not like this. He frowned. Not like what? She hesitated. Her fingers curled slightly at her side. Exposed, she whispered. Weak. Aaron raised an eyebrow. I've stood in front of admirals wearing half of a spacesuit. You look perfectly dignified to me. A tiny smile touched her lips, but it faded quickly. You don't understand, Captain. Among my people, vulnerability is a sign of danger. If someone sees us in a state of weakness, it means trust or betrayal. Nothing in between. So which one do you think I am? That, she said softly, is what I must discover. The temperature in the room shifted as she stepped closer. Her movements were fluid, like water flowing across stone. Aaron noticed faint glowing patterns on her skin, bioluminescent markings that appeared when she was stressed. He had read about these markings in the ambassador reports. They were emotional indicators, revealing the truth beneath a Varelian's calm face. And right now the patterns flickered rapidly. She was afraid. Why did you ask for me? Aaron asked. The message said it had to be me. No one else. Saralith looked at him in a way that made his heart tighten. Not romantically, but with a kind of desperate sincerity. Because humans are different, she said. Your species survives what others cannot. You push forward even when your world burns. You create hope from ashes. Aaron rubbed the back of his neck. Most people just say humans are stubborn. She shook her head. No. Humans choose courage, even when it is foolish, even when it leads to pain. And right now, I need someone with that kind of heart. Aaron's expression hardened. What happened, Princess? She swallowed. My planet is dying. The words were simple, but the weight behind them shook the room. The glowing walls flickered slightly, responding to her stress. Aaron stepped closer, lowering his voice. Dying how? Saralith raised her hand. A hologram appeared showing the planet's core, a swirling mass of energy that was slowly collapsing inward. Our world is built on living crystal, she explained. It grows, it breathes, it shapes our technology. But something has infected it. A corruption, a void. The hologram darkened as black cracks spread through the core. Aaron felt a chill crawl down his spine. How long do you have? A month. Maybe less. Her voice trembled again. And the worst part? The corruption is not natural. Someone did this to us. Aaron drew in a sharp breath. An attack? She nodded. A silent war. And if the core collapses, Varelia will turn to dust. My people will fade. Our cities, our history, gone. And you asked for me, Aaron said, putting the pieces together, because you think humans can help. No. She stepped closer, eyes glowing brighter. Because I believe you can help. Me? Yes. Her voice softened. Because humans break impossible limits and because I saw you in a vision. Aaron blinked. A vision? My people can see possible futures, she explained. Not clearly, but in fragments. And in those fragments, there was you. Standing where no Varelian could, holding the answer we could not. A human who would walk into danger without hesitation. He stared at her, unsure how to respond. You saw me saving your planet. I saw you holding its fate. She paused, and possibly mine. Silence filled the chamber. Aaron glanced at the glowing door behind him, then back at the princess. He had planned for a simple diplomatic mission, not a planetary crisis. But her eyes were full of a quiet plea, one that no soldier, no envoy, no human with a heart could ignore. Finally, he nodded. Princess Saralith, if your world is in danger, then I'll do everything I can to help. Her markings glowed brighter. Hope. Thank you, Captain Hale. Aaron gave a small smile. But next time I walk into a room, I'll knock first." A soft laugh escaped her, lightening the air. "Yes," she said. "Next time, please do." But beneath her smile, Aaron sensed it. The real danger had not yet begun, and the fragile trust between human and princess was only the first step. Captain Aaron Hale followed Princess Sarilith through a long corridor that curved gently downward beneath the palace. The deeper they walked, the dimmer the lights became, until the walls glowed only faintly like fireflies trapped in crystal. Every footstep echoed, soft but lonely, as if the entire structure sensed their worry. Aaron felt a strange pressure around him, like the air itself was thicker. "What is this place?" he asked quietly. "The Heartline Path," Sarilith replied. "It leads to the lower chambers, where the corruption first appeared." Her voice carried both strength and fear. Aaron studied her face. She moved with grace, but her eyes shifted constantly, as though she expected danger at every corner. It was clear that even as royalty, she was walking into something unknown. He rested his hand near the emergency tool on his belt. Not a weapon, but a multi-tool designed for exploration. He hoped he wouldn't need anything more dangerous today. After several minutes, they reached a large doorway sealed with shining crystal bars. Sarilith placed her hand against a small panel, and the bars melted apart as if turning to liquid light. Aaron let out a low whistle. "That technology, incredible." Sarilith nodded. "Our crystal responds to our emotions, our energy, our intentions. But lately, it responds less and less. The corruption weakens everything." They stepped inside. The chamber beyond was enormous, like the inside of a glowing cave. Thousands of crystal pillars rose from the ground, reaching toward a roof far above. Each pillar pulsed with gentle colors, blues, purples, greens. But Aaron noticed something disturbing. Black veins were spreading through many of them, like cracks filled with darkness. "What is that?" he asked. "The corruption," Sarilith whispered. "It started here. At first, the healers thought it was a natural shift, a cycle, but it grew too fast." Aaron walked closer to one of the infected pillars. The black veins moved, slowly, but unmistakably, like something alive was crawling through the heart of the crystal. "It's spreading," he said. "Yes, and once a pillar fully darkens." She swallowed. "It collapses, sometimes even explodes." Aaron touched the crystal gently. It was cold, far colder than it should have been. The darkness beneath the surface pulsed faintly, like a slow heartbeat. He stepped back. "This isn't natural." "Someone did this." Sarilith nodded. "You understand now why I needed you." He frowned. "Why a human? Why me?" She hesitated before answering. "Because the corruption reacts differently to your kind. When humans touch the crystal, the infection slows." Aaron stared. "What? How do you know that?" Sarilith's face tightened with guilt. "Because we tested it," she said softly. "On your diplomats. When they visited months ago, the healers noticed something. The darkness withdrew slightly whenever a human approached." Aaron took a slow breath. "So humans can push the corruption back." "Not remove it," she explained, "but weaken it, delay it, and bring me here." Aaron realized aloud, "Because you want me to try." "Yes." He walked slowly through the chamber, thinking. Humanity had no powers, no magic, no glowing crystals. Yet here he was, possibly the key to holding back something that could destroy an entire world. "Show me the worst spot," Aaron said. Sarilith blinked. "You are not afraid?" "Terrified," Aaron said honestly. "But fear never helped anyone. Show me." A small, grateful smile crossed her face. They approached a massive crystal pillar in the center of the chamber. It was almost completely black. The darkness inside it churned like a storm cloud trapped in glass. Aaron felt the temperature drop the closer they got. "This one is closest to collapsing," Sarilith said. "If it breaks, the entire chamber will fall apart." Aaron placed his hand on the surface. Ice shot through his arm, like touching a frozen river. The black veins inside reacted instantly, shifting away from his touch. Sarilith gasped. "It's moving back!" Aaron grit his teeth. "Feels like it's fighting me." "You are helping more than you know," she said. But something else was happening, too. He felt pressure in his chest, as if something was pulling energy from him. His breath quickened. The darkness didn't like him. He stepped back, shaking his hand. His fingers tingled painfully. Sarilith grabbed his arm. "Are you all right?" "I'm fine," Aaron said, though he wasn't entirely sure. "But whatever this is, it's draining something. Energy, maybe." She looked at him with worry. "I shouldn't have asked you to touch it directly. We can try another method." Aaron forced a smile. "Too late to apologize. What's next?" She hesitated before speaking. "There is a deeper chamber. The core vault. It holds the largest crystal on the planet. If the corruption is controlled there, we may save Varelia." "And I suppose," he said, "you want me to walk into the most dangerous place on the planet." Her markings dimmed. "I won't force you. You don't need to." Aaron straightened. "You need help. Humanity helps." For the first time, her face softened completely. "You truly are different." He shrugged. "Humans don't like losing, and I'd rather not watch a planet crumble today." They followed a side passage that sloped even deeper underground. The air became heavier, carrying a faint metallic taste. Strange humming sounds echoed through the darkness, like whispers traveling through stone. At the end of the path stood a sealed door far larger than the others, towering, covered in ancient symbols. Sarilith approached it with caution. "This door leads to the core vault. Only members of the royal bloodline can open it." She placed both hands on the surface. Her markings glowed bright white, spreading across the door like flowing water. The symbols awakened, shining one by one. But then something went wrong. A black crack shot across the door, and Sarilith gasped as if struck by a shock. Her body trembled. She fell to one knee. "Princess!" Aaron rushed forward and caught her before she collapsed. "What happened?" "The corruption. It reached the vault." Her voice was weak. "It's resisting me." Aaron looked at the door. The dark crack pulsed, alive. "Then maybe it needs something different," he said. She stared at him. "Humans cannot open this door. It responds only to Varelian energy." "Then let me help you with yours," Aaron said. Her eyes widened. "That is dangerous." "So is doing nothing." Sarilith hesitated, then nodded slowly. She placed her hand on the door again. Aaron placed his hand over hers. The reaction was immediate. A surge of light shot through the door, bright white mixed with pale blue. The dark crack recoiled violently, shrinking away from their combined touch. Sarilith gasped, but this time in surprise rather than pain. "It's working," she said. Aaron gritted his teeth as energy pulsed through his arm. "Open it!" She pushed with all her strength, channeling her power through the crystal. The symbols flashed one by one, faster and faster. The entire door vibrated like a living being trying to break free. Then, with a loud, echoing sound, the door melted open, dissolving into streams of light that drifted upward like sparks. Sarilith stared in shock. "Together, we opened a royal seal." Aaron exhaled. "Let's hope it stays open." They stepped into the core vault. The room was enormous, shaped like a sphere with a walkway across the center. Floating at the heart of the chamber was a colossal crystal, hundreds of meters tall, glowing with gentle colors. Or at least it should have been glowing. Half of it was black. The corruption here was thicker, swirling like a storm trapped in the core. The air felt colder, heavier. The lights flickered as if afraid of the dark mass. Sarilith's voice was barely a whisper. This is worse than I feared." Aaron stepped closer. His skin prickled with energy, as if the crystal was watching him. "How long has it been like this?" he asked. "Not long," she said. "Weeks, maybe days. It accelerates." Aaron's eyes narrowed. "This isn't just corruption. It feels like something is inside it." Sarilith gasped when she heard that, and then for the first time real fear filled her face. "You feel it too?" Aaron nodded slowly. "Something is moving in there." As they watched, the black mass inside the core shifted, pressing outward against the crystal surface. A shape, like a claw. Aaron stepped back. "Princess, someone didn't just corrupt your planet." Sarilith stared, trembling. "They trapped something inside it." The core pulsed violently. A deep, rumbling sound echoed through the vault. Sarilith backed away. "We need to leave. Now." But the darkness had awakened, and it had noticed them. A sharp shockwave rippled through the core vault, shaking the entire chamber. Captain Aaron Hale grabbed the railing to steady himself as Princess Sarilith clutched her chest, her markings flickering wildly. The giant crystal core pulsed again, and the dark shape inside pressed harder against the glowing surface. It was trying to break free. Aaron felt the pressure rising like a storm building in the air. His skin tingled, and a low, rumbling sound rolled through the chamber. "What is that thing?" he asked. Sarilith's voice was weak, almost breaking. "A void spawn. My ancestors fought them centuries ago. We believed they were gone forever. But someone trapped one inside our core." "Why?" Aaron demanded. "To destroy us," she whispered. "If the core breaks open, the void spawn will consume the planet." Another violent pulse hit the chamber. The walkway shook under their feet. Pieces of crystal fell from the ceiling, shattering into glowing dust. Sarilith grabbed Aaron's arm. "We must seal the vault again, before it escapes." Aaron shook his head. "If we close the door, it still breaks free. The core keeps collapsing. We need a plan that actually stops it." The princess's eyes widened. "Stop it? Aaron, that creature cannot be killed by Varelians. It absorbs our energy." "But it reacts to humans," Aaron said. "Everything down here reacts to humans." She stared at him, understanding starting to form. "You want to go closer to the core?" "I don't want to," Aaron muttered. "But I don't see another choice." A roar, deep, unnatural, echoing, burst from the core. Cracks spiderwebbed across the massive crystal surface. The dark shape inside moved again, pushing against the weakened shell. Sarilith trembled. "It's waking. If you get too close, it will take your life." "Maybe," Aaron said calmly. "Or maybe it will weaken around me. Enough for you to do something." "What can I do?" she asked, almost pleading. Aaron took her hands gently. "You're the princess. The crystals respond to you. If the corruption pulls back around me, you use your energy to stabilize the core. Together, we might hold it." Her markings dimmed with fear. "If we fail?" "We won't," Aaron said, "because we can't." A long moment passed. Then Sarilith nodded, slowly but firmly. "Then we try. Together." They climbed down the narrow path that spiraled toward the center of the vault. The closer they got, the colder the air became. Frost formed on Aaron's suit. Sarilith's breath came out in shimmering clouds, her markings glowing faint and unsteady. The ground vibrated again as the core pulsed harder. Aaron's heart pounded as he approached the immense crystal. It towered above him like a mountain of frozen light. The darkness inside swirled like a violent storm, and a faint outline, humanoid but twisted, was pressing against the inner surface. Sarilith placed both hands on the ground, focusing her energy. The floor lit up beneath her palms, glowing with soft white patterns. "Go," she said. touch the core." Aaron stepped close. Every instinct told him not to. He raised his hand and pressed his palm against the darkened crystal. The reaction was immediate. A blast of cold shot up his arm. Aaron gasped, feeling the energy drain from his body, but at the same time, the corruption inside recoiled violently. The darkness retreated from the point where he touched, shrinking back inside the core. Saralith's eyes widened. "It's working!" Aaron gritted his teeth, pressing harder. "Then do your part!" The princess rose to her feet. Her markings flared bright white. She stretched her arms toward the core, sending shimmering streams of energy into the surface. The crystal responded instantly. Light spread outward, chasing the darkness. For a moment, it seemed almost possible. But the void spawn fought back. The darkness surged again, slamming against the crystal from inside. A shockwave burst outward, nearly knocking Aaron to the ground. Saralith stumbled, crying out as her energy was pushed back. Cracks spread across the core. "It's angry!" she shouted. "It knows you're weakening it!" Aaron forced himself to stay upright. His vision blurred. His arm felt numb. "We're close," he said through clenched teeth. "We just need—" Another explosion of darkness slammed into the crystal. A long crack shot across the surface, reaching toward Aaron's hand. Saralith screamed, "Aaron, move!" But Aaron didn't move. Instead, he pressed his other hand to the crystal. "Aaron!" Saralith shouted again, terrified. The core flared with bright white light. The darkness recoiled sharply, as if burned. The void spawn released a roar of pure rage, echoing like thunder. Aaron felt his legs weaken. His entire body vibrated with the force of the energy passing through him. But the more he endured, the more the darkness pulled back. "Princess!" Aaron shouted. "Now! Seal it!" Saralith focused every bit of her strength. Her markings lit up like a star going supernova. Streams of white energy surged into the cracks. The core brightened. The darkness shrank. The monster screamed, and the chamber shook like the world was breaking apart. A blinding flash consumed the vault. Aaron flew backward, hitting the ground hard. His vision went white. His ears rang. The air felt like fire and ice all at once. When the light faded, he blinked rapidly, trying to see. The core was glowing again, bright, pure. The darkness inside was gone. The void spawn had been sealed, or destroyed, or forced back into whatever dimension it came from. The corruption was gone. Aaron exhaled a shaking breath. "We did it?" Saralith rushed to him, kneeling beside him as her hands glowed with healing light. "You're alive!" she cried. "I thought it took your life." Aaron managed a weak smile. "Not today." She touched his cheek gently, relief flooding her face. "You did what no Varelian could do." Aaron tried to sit up. His whole body felt heavy. "We did it. Together." She shook her head softly. "No. Without you, our world would be lost. Humans truly carry a strange, impossible strength." He coughed a tired laugh. "We call it stubbornness." Saralith smiled, tears forming in her bright eyes. "Then may your stubbornness be blessed." Moments later, the palace guards stormed into the vault, weapons drawn, faces full of panic. They froze when they saw the healed core and the two figures on the ground beneath it. One guard dropped to his knees. "Princess, the core, it has healed!" Word traveled fast. Soon the entire palace echoed with shouts of amazement and celebration. Varelia had been saved, but Aaron barely heard any of it. Exhaustion pulled him toward sleep. He felt Saralith's hands supporting him, felt the warmth of her energy helping stabilize his body. "Rest," she whispered. "You have done enough." Hours later, Aaron woke in a soft bed inside the royal healing hall. The room was warm, filled with gentle light and the scent of crystal blossoms. His breathing was steady again. Saralith sat nearby, watching him with calm eyes. "You survived," she said softly. Arin sat up slowly. Wasn't planning to die. She laughed lightly. Your bravery is reckless, but it saved us. Arin rubbed his forehead. So, what now? Sarilith looked toward the window, where distant crystal towers glowed with renewed light. Now, she said, Varelia rebuilds, and we honor the human who saved our future. Arin blinked. I'm not looking for statues. You won't get one, she teased. Your kind tends to dislike them? Arin smiled. True. She stood and offered her hand. But you will get something better. A promise. He raised an eyebrow. A promise? That our people will stand with humans forever, in peace, in unity, and in hope. You have shown us that even in darkness, courage lives. Arin took her hand and stood. Then I accept. Sarilith nodded. And one more thing, Captain Hale. Yes? Next time you walk into my chamber, knock. Arin laughed. Deal. Outside, the planet shone brighter than before, alive, healed, and hopeful. Humanity had changed Varelia's fate, and one stubborn human had shown an entire world what courage truly meant.